Yes. Whenever you want, Fran.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. As Gabi introduced me, I'm Franco Bottini, and I'm here to talk to you about how English was important in my life. But I would also like to talk with you afterwards, so ask me whatever you want. From the color of the letters, you can guess which was my house, don't you? Exactly. Well, so you can here have favoritism. Well, this was me at 1994, like a huge head. I don't know why. But well, fortunately, head kept the same size and the other part of the body grew. So that's me now. This is me now. This is me working at the residency, where I help other doctors to become cardiologists. I'm a cardiologist, and the residency is like the most hard part of becoming a doctor. Yeah? When you really have to start doing things besides learning them. So English was, during these all these years, came with me and helped me in a lot of different situations. But well, my life isn't only my career, it's most about my people. So I put my people in the first place. If I have to talk about my family and my friends, English won't be necessary because they are all from Argentina, yet they speak perfect Spanish, so it won't be necessary. However, when it comes to traveling or living abroad, English became really important. Yeah? I will then explain you a little bit more of one of these parts. Then, during my career, medical school here in Argentina, you don't need to speak English either. So, English becomes useful afterwards when you have to actually be a doctor, or if you want to carry on your studies abroad, for example, in fellowships or other kind of stuff. Then my hobbies include music and sports. And you could ask me, why do you need to speak during those sports? Well, it's not only about the thing you are doing, but it is also about sharing with other people.
What sport do you do?
No, sorry, that comes afterwards. Okay, Santi, thank you for your question, but it comes after the video, remember?
Okay, I'll answer you that at the end.
Of course, thank you, Santi.
Well, the first part is about traveling and living abroad. In this map you can see different colors around the world showing which language is the first language spoken in each country. And if you have to guess, which language would you think is the most spoken around the world?
Russian.
Chinese.
Spanish.
Lift your hands, raise your hands. There.
English.
English. Other options?
Chinese.
Chinese. And what other one?
Russian.
Russian. Well, Russia is a big country, but it doesn't have many people there. But China does. 1.2 billion persons speak Chinese, but they are mostly all Chinese people. Yeah? In the second place we have Spanish, so you have an advantage there. More or less 600 million people speak Spanish, and it also opens the door to Europe, because you have Spanish and in Spain. And English comes in the third place when you talk about the first language. However, if you start talking about a second language, English comes to the second place with more than 500 million English speakers around the world. And what's most important is that they are not all English. They live all around the world, for example, you and me. Yeah? Doesn't matter what country you travel, you will find always someone who talks or who speaks in English. Yeah? And to show you that, I brought you a video that I filmed during once I was traveling. I was living in Croatia, and imagine Croatians speak Croatian. And in a hostel, you will have people from all around the world. Doesn't need to be all Croatians, but mostly you will have people from that part of the world. And let me show you. nice, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't know if you could catch any word from there,
Yes.
but we were speaking English. Yeah? An Argentinian, there were Brazilians, 2 girls from France, 2 guys from the US, 1 Hindu, and 2 Croatians. So, we all spoke different languages, but English was our language in common. And that's why we could make friends on that night, we could hang out together and share at least one night all together, like trying to talk to each other. Yeah? And these are, for me, the best part of every trip, knowing people. Yeah? Well, my career. One thing is to study at med school, but another difference is to keep updated. I don't know if this dude is updated, but if he speaks English, it would be easier for him. This one is like the Brownwell Heart Disease textbook, is like the Bible in cardiology. You have to read it to know to make your first steps on cardiology. And it's always published first in English, and then like half a year or a year later, it will come in Spanish. So when you are training, if you don't know English, you will always be 1 year or half a year behind. Yeah? And even afterwards, when I became a cardiologist, I have to study every day because information changes, and some things that we do 1 year, at the next year or 5 years later, it won't be so correct. Yeah? So, after textbooks, you will have to read scientific journals. Yeah? You have there 2 of the most famous ones, the New England Journal of Medicine and the Journal of American College of Cardiology. They are published weekly. Yeah? So if you want to keep updated, you will have to read them weekly, and they will always be in English. Yeah? In fact, if you want to not only keep updated, but if you will also want to take part of the community, of scientific community, and start creating information, it will happen something the same. This article was published in the Argentinian Society of Cardiology by a group of doctors, in which one I was included, yeah, in Argentina. However, if you can read the capital letter, the first line, it's in English. Yeah? So if you want your product of science work to be read all around the world, you will have to write it in English. Then you will have in every journal an original language part. For example, in Argentina, it's written also in Spanish, yeah, but always first in English. Well, finally, my hobbies. I don't know if the picture answers your question. Yeah. So, I enjoy very much traveling abroad to surf. Yes, with my cousin, who is Brazilian. So, you can go everywhere to surf, and it won't be necessary a Spanish-speaking country. So, if you want to go to Portugal, France, Australia, United States of America, you will need not to surf, but you will need to get some information before you surf. Where to go, at what time, it depends on the wind that blows. Yeah? So that's called local knowledge. Yeah? And you can ask that from local surfers, most probably in English. And finally, music. Well, there is something different about music, because music is a language itself. So you won't need English, nor Spanish, nor nothing. English is a way in which we can communicate with each other. So I brought you a video from a professional bass player called Victor Wooten. I don't know if you know it, but he's my favorite.
Is that
Sorry, it's not way over there.
Oh.
forms of expression. They can be used as a way to communicate with others. They can be read and written. They can make you laugh or cry, think or question, and can speak to one or many. And both can definitely make you move. In some instances, music works better than the spoken word because it doesn't have to be understood to be effective. Although many musicians agree that music is a language, it is rarely treated as such. Many of us treat it as something that can only be learned by following a strict regimen under the tutelage of a skilled teacher. This approach has been followed for hundreds of years with proven success, but it takes a long time. Too long. Think about the first language you learned as a child. More importantly, think about how you learned it. You were a baby when you first started speaking, and even though you spoke the language incorrectly, you were allowed to make mistakes, and the more mistakes you made, the more your parents smiled. Learning to speak was not something you were sent somewhere to do only a few times a week. The majority of the people you spoke to were not beginners. They were already proficient speakers. Imagine your parents forcing you to only speak to other babies until you were good enough to speak to them. You'd probably be an adult before you could carry on a proper conversation. To use a musical term, as a baby, you were allowed to jam with professionals. If we approach music in the same natural way we approached our first language, we would learn to speak it in the same short time it took to speak our first language. Proof of this can be seen in almost any family where a child grows up with other musicians in the family. Few keys to follow in learning book.
That's it. Then it's an explanation for teachers how to teach languages or music, like thinking it as a language. Yeah. So I wanted to show this because it's really important for me not to be afraid to talk to someone who speaks better than you. Yeah. You can learn a lot speaking to native speakers, and just don't be afraid. Yeah. Just as you learned when you were a kid, as you learned Spanish, perhaps in the first place. So, in conclusions, languages open doors. English, Spanish, music, every language. Both inside your mind and outside your mind. Outside because it makes you live with less boundaries. If you want to live wherever you want, with whoever you want. Yeah? And inside your mind, because it's a training that broadens your knowledge and your ability to find your way in life and just being happy. Yeah? So, thank you very much.